if you wrapped it up in a nutshell, it's how do they deal with scale? The fact that they've got so many more people, so much more economic activity, how do they deal with that? How do they deal with the fact that so many different things in a city are connected? Whether you're talking about the water and the energy and the healthcare and the transportation systems, or whether you're talking about different social systems, it's all connected. And as they get bigger and as the scale increases, those connections get more and more. How do you deal with that? How do you understand those connections? How do you improve the way they operate? They can be more resilient in many ways, beginning with, for example, thinking about some of the ecosystem services around them. So, for example, if a city is reliant on a floodplain to absorb the impact, the potential impact of flooding, make sure that they don't build on that. Or if they're reliant on coastal mangroves or reliant on wooded hillsides to prevent flash floods, make sure that you protect the trees and so on, so that you don't get excess runoff. So that's the first area. The second area is then really understanding the nature of the threats and the nature of the hazards that they face, and planning for those. And that planning can requires thinking about lots of different timescales. So there's some stuff that you do would you need to think about it on a 10-year timeline, changing land use, changing building codes. You don't update every building in a city overnight. Some of it maybe is, let's say, on a 5-year timescale, whether that's improving your stormwater drainage or improving the resilience of your water system to earthquakes, or your energy system to earthquakes, improving the capacity of roads to evacuate people, perhaps. That kind of thing's about, takes 5 to 10 years, let's say. Then it's about public awareness, which you build up over a period of months and years. And it's also about emergency planning, which you clearly need to do over and over. It's not something that you just do once. Then you got the response to the event, and then you kind of get out the other side of that, and it's about, well, okay, we've had a disaster. What do we have to fix first? What could we safely leave? And then how do we stand the economy up after the event? So it's about really all of those things, and it's about making sure that you've got a plan that addresses all of those things. I think probably one of the best examples that I've found is where cities are able to start to use some of the instrumentation that they have on their water systems to help them identify damage that has just been experienced from flooding or from an earthquake. They'd be using that instrumentation to manage the system anyway. If they can use it to make the city, as it were, make the water system report its own damage, that's clearly a big step forward. I can think of also other examples where, for example, the city of Dubuque in Iowa, where a very small, relatively small investment in information technology in optimizing the operation of their stormwater system saved them well over $100 million worth of civil engineering work to expand the system. We showed them that they were able to get more out of their existing system, and that therefore the replacement one did not need to be as big as they thought it did, and that's what saved them. In fact, it was $120 million. There's two main takeaways: is how avidly people network, and how keen people are to learn from each other and just exchange ideas. And I think actually that's the main value that they add, in terms of raising the profile of ideas, letting people swap and share ideas, in terms of building, so to speak, a consensus about the way that cities need to evolve as they go forward. That's going to happen in ever so many different events around the world, hosted by ever so many different people. The World City Summit is one such, and I think it's great.